share with you guys today is something about how our business model works from a perspective of how we're trying to build efficiencies and how we're continually trying to build out. So when we work with our target markets, there's really 4 types of businesses. There's your product-based, service-based, and you've got B2B and B2C. So you've got 4 quadrants of the type of businesses that are out there. You guys kind of understand and see that? But in reality, it's kind of more it kind of fades back from. There's not really any business that's all or nothing. It's kind of like what you're heating and when you're on your furnace or your air conditioner in your car, where the hot kind of fades into the cold. It's kind of the same thing with here to there. So it's not necessarily a B2B product or B2B service, but there's an element of kind of the gradation. So for us, we're definitely 100% focused on B2B, and we're kind of a service with a product a little bit. So we're probably, and we've got a little, every once in a while we get a B2C server. We're probably, right here. Here's another client that we got. Our shop. Where do you think our shop goes? Mostly B2C, but he does every once in a while does a little B2B, right? So he's high up, and what is he? He's probably service, but also but with a lot of product also, right? Because he sells the unit. So from a revenue perspective, he's probably about 50-50. So he's probably somewhere up here. What's another client? Okay, so straight up solar. They're both, right? They've got about a mix of B2B, B2C, but they're kind of products, and they're also kind of product with the service. So they're essentially kind of right there. But what you're going to start finding, we talked about those strategic clusters, kind of the same thing, is you're going to start seeing certain businesses falling into the same areas. So, for example, pro irrigation is probably a little bit more down the line on B2B, B2C, but almost exactly the same from a product to service basis. From our marketing perspective, we work with him on all of his B2C stuff. So for him, really, he's right up here with our shop. So what does that mean? Well, that means that we can start focusing on areas, those strategic clusters that we talked about, and really start to focus in on what are the things that we can really drive results. So there's another thing we talked about, kind of our target markets, right? So it's kind of cross sections, B&I, accelerator, EO, and then up here you got YPO, WPO. So those are 10 plus, 25 plus, right? So why do you think that they categorize these organizations in these ways? Why do you think they do that?
They have similar issues, experiences.
Right. Exactly. So they have kind of in these areas, they kind of share experiences that they're all kind of going through the same thing. So from that perspective, imagine this is now kind of 3-dimensional. And so now think of it not just as a front plane, but kind of going all the way. And so if you've got those sections now to draw from. And so say this is B&I, this is accelerator, EO, and obviously this keeps going out further beyond, but for our target markets, that's where we're at. So now imagine for us, we focus on this section, right? That's our target market. So if we pull out that cross section with this quadrant, we can really start to kind of hone in on specific problems, because now we can focus on specific areas and specific things. So say we take this section right here out of this block. So it's essentially this block right here. And so now we've got the B2C product-based companies. And so within there, there's going to be different variants of where they land. What you can now do is, because now we've got such a small cross-section and such a small slice, more often than not, a lot of the same challenges, now the same challenges from this section, and then these companies face a lot of the same challenges based on their business model, right? So now we've really honed it in specific. So now at this point, you can probably just say that if they've got 99 problems, but marketing ain't one, 66 of them probably are going to be pretty damn similar. Because now we've honed in specifically on the revenue level, which is the development of their business, and also their business model. So if you've got 66, 2/3, 1/3, then if you start looking at some of the other variations, so if you start looking at positioning or business model, from those standpoints of how do they sell to their clients? Are they the low-cost leader? Are they the high-end service provider? The things that we've talked about. Are we the sell just templated everything? Or are we strictly customizing? Ad agency? Are we right in the middle? So once you start accounting for positioning the business model, you can probably raise this bar up a little bit higher because the way that you approach those business models are going to be pretty similar. If you look at culture, how do they interact with their employees? How do they interact with their clients? Probably another little bit higher. And if you look at vision, where are they trying to take the company? Are they trying to grow it? Or are they trying to make it a lifestyle business that just turns out cash? Are they trying to make this go fast growth and try to get investors? So then that probably is going to raise the bar even a little bit higher. So now at this point, you're left with essentially 10% of specifically customizable to that specific business and that specific industry and that specific size. So what that allows us to do is do what? What can we do with this area?
Systematize it.
We can systemize it, right? So we can create systems, we can create products that are reusable. How do you guys see this played out right now with the way we do things? Where's one thing that we do it with a lot of different things, but where's one thing that we do? So just websites in general, right? We have a lot of best practices. If you look at the back end of most of our websites, they're all built pretty similar, right? We're not building customized, proprietary from the ground up websites each time. Would you agree that our WordPress sites probably fall into kind of this? 2/3 of it is probably the same from site to site, but we really customize the crap out of that top 1/3. And that allows us to be much more efficient, right? Core messaging exercises, same thing. We tailor specifically to the client, but probably 90% of it is specific to, or is exactly the same over and over. This gives us if we can hone in on this process. So if right now we're probably in this 2/3, 1/3, if we can get this down to a 90-10 split, that's when we get true efficiency and effectiveness, and that's when we can truly scale at a very optimal level and really still have a high degree of success. So how do you guys see this potentially rolling out forward? Where's something else that we can continue to streamline and continue to custom and make it productized? Where's another opportunity for that?
Content,
right? So there's base packages. There's, don't you think that the way that these areas probably are going to communicate in a similar fashion with it, and even in the, from art shot to corrugation, the things that they're going to say, the competitive advantages, the things that are important to those clients, pretty similar. So then you can start really just swapping out and making the tone and the language sound like that client. But there's opportunities to really focus on that 90-10 split, which is really where we need to get to.